Blue and red lights are flashing off my porch. I've got handcuffs digging into my wrists, and an excavator humming quietly in the background like some giant yellow elephant in the room. It's 10 at night, Tuesday, and I'm trying to explain to a bone-tired officer why I'm on my own property while Beverly Crane, the self-crowned president of the HOA, waves around a laminated map from 1998 with a coffee ring over my bedroom like it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. Behind her, a small army of neighbors huddled in pajamas, clutching phones like torches, waiting to see the villain brought to justice. Guess who the officer believes? I'm Nolan Pierce, systems analyst, introvert, chronic mower of perfectly straight lines. I bought my bungalow in Willower Downs because the listing promised quiet streets and big old shade trees, not a suburban war zone. Nobody mentioned the militant HOA or Beverly Crane. She's got hair lacquered into a helmet, a clipboard she wields like a weapon, and a voice that could strip paint off a fence at 50 paces. 2 weeks after I move in, I catch her crouched at my mailbox, measuring the angle of the flag with an actual protractor. I wave politely. She straightens up like a drill sergeant, cites me for non-compliant cheerfulness, and informs me that residents are expected to maintain professional distance during active inspections. That's when the violation notices start arriving, like grocery store coupons, endless and unwanted. My porch light is too warm at 2,700 Kelvin when bylaws clearly say 3,000 minimum. My sedum is aggressively encroaching, threatening the neighborhood's botanical uniformity. My little wind chime? Auditory graffiti. Then she finds the side lot, a narrow strip of grass I'd mowed out of habit, thinking it was part of my property. With a theatrical sniff, she declares it common area. My supposed offense? A single tomato cage holding one sad little beefsteak plant. She drafts a 17-page amendment about unauthorized horticultural frameworks, passes it in a secret session with her 2 loyal board members, then trespasses at dawn to rip out the cage like contraband. She leaves the dying plant impaled with a laminated notice on a stake like it's been executed for treason. And it just keeps escalating. A glossy flyer goes out to all 73 homes accusing me of plot theft and botanical terrorism. Nextdoor blows up with 47 replies speculating that I'm building a dog track, or maybe a meth lab. Then comes the certified letter demanding I cease construction or face criminal charges, civil litigation, and permanent banishment from community events. My construction, by the way, is 3 stepping stones and a rain barrel. Beverly isn't satisfied with HOA threats. She files a police report on the non-emergency line. When they don't respond fast enough, she calls 911. She tells the officer I've encroached on protected greenbelt lands in violation of County Ordinance 7.3.5, which doesn't exist, but she says it like it's scripture. She's got a poster-sized plat map from OfficeMax with my property line mysteriously moved 2 feet to the left in thick black marker. She waves around a notice of encroachment she filed that morning, signed by Acting Land Use Commissioner Beverly Crane. That title? She gave herself. The seal? She found it on Google Images. When I pay $800 for a legitimate survey, the stakes disappear overnight. 18 inches into the ground, gone. My security camera goes offline mysteriously that same night. The next evening, I'm the one in handcuffs because Beverly claims I'm grading protected wetlands with heavy machinery. The wetlands are my sprinkler-soaked lawn. The heavy machinery is a rented mini excavator I'm using to remove a dead stump. The officer looks like he'd rather be anywhere else, but Beverly's stack of official-looking papers and her relentless confidence keep him by the book. She stands there smirking as I'm loaded into the patrol car, preaching about protecting common spaces for future generations. Jail has a way of clarifying priorities. Under those sickly fluorescent lights, I decide I'm done playing defense. I call a real property attorney. I call a board title officer who perks up the moment I explain what's been happening. By morning, we've got everything laid out. My deed, the meets and bounds description from 1892, a GIS overlay that looks like rainbow spaghetti but clearly proves that strip of land has always been mine, long before the HOA even existed. The county clerk checks the encroachment notice Beverly filed. Turns out it's the record number for a 2004 marriage license between 2 people named Rodriguez. The land use department? No, Commissioner Beverly Crane exists, and they'd love to talk about her using their seal. The survey company sends time-stamped photos of the stakes in place, plus a Ring doorbell still from across the street. Beverly, 2:13 a.m., tactical gear, hauling my survey stakes away like Olympic javelins. My lawyer compiles everything into a folder that grows fatter by the hour. We find forged signatures, fake meeting minutes, bogus amendments. At arraignment, my lawyer hands the judge a neat bundle the size of a phone book. The deed, title insurance, original plats, sworn affidavits. Beverly brings her laminated coffee-stained map and launches into a speech about the tragedy of the commons and suburban integrity. The judge raises a hand mid-sentence and asks one question. Ms. Crane, what governmental office empowered you to file this notice? Silence. The courtroom air conditioning suddenly sounds too loud. Even the court reporter looks up. Beverly stammers something about community standards and implied authority. The judge's eyebrows go up, way up. He flips through her documents, then mine, then hers again, making little noises of disbelief. He explains, very clearly, that filing a false instrument is a crime. Impersonating a government official is a federal offense. Her face goes pale. He dismisses my charges with prejudice and recommends the DA review her filings for prosecution. 2 weeks later, the community clubhouse is set to Arctic chill. The DA's investigator, a man who looks like nothing surprises him anymore, lays out Beverly's charges in a monotone that makes every word land heavier. Filing a false instrument, felony. Tampering with survey markers, misdemeanor. False police report. Impersonating an official, federal. Vandalism. Trespass. False imprisonment. Then he clicks a remote, and on the TV, there's crystal clear footage of Beverly prying out my stakes with a garden trowel, muttering that property lines are a social construct invented by capitalists. 3 full minutes of this. The room is dead silent except for the hum of the projector. He reads out the penalties like a grim accountant. For years for the false instrument, 10 grand in fines for the stakes, another year for the false report, 5 more for impersonating a federal official. Beverly's hand shakes so hard she drops her water glass. No one moves to help her. The board votes, publicly, unanimously, to remove her as president. Even Gerald, her lapdog for 6 years, votes yes, looking like he swallowed a lemon. They permanently ban her from any HOA role. Then the fines start pouring in, backdated for every bogus citation she ever issued. I get reimbursed for everything. The survey, the excavator, the night in lockup, my attorney's $12,000 fee, and sweetest of all, $23 for the tomato cage plus the estimated value of 36 pounds of tomatoes I would have harvested. Beverly tries to speak, but her voice cracks. The investigator raises his hand and gives her 2 choices: accept a plea deal of probation, fines, and community service, or face a trial that could land her in prison for over a decade. She whispers that she'll take the deal, hands shaking so badly she needs help signing. By spring, my illegal dog track is a neat herb garden with a survey marker set in concrete. Beverly's community service is litter pickup along the Greenbelt, which, according to a very official framed document in my hallway, is now Pierce's side yard, with a recorded easement. The HOA replaces her paper empire with a shared Google Doc, digital signatures required, and a new rule: no enforcement without actual evidence and legal review. One afternoon, Beverly shuffles past in a community service vest, pokey stick in hand. She pauses by my rosemary bush and asks in a quiet voice if the clippings are community property. I smile, hand her a labeled bag, private herbs. Lot 17, property of Nolan Pierce. Verified by county survey. She logs it like an accountant recording her own karma. She's broke from fines. Her probation keeps her off every board she dreamed of joining. Her real estate license is suspended. She looks deflated, like a balloon a week after the party, as she picks up a candy wrapper near my freshly marked property line while the new HOA president drives by and waves. You tell me, was I petty or just patient? Because where I'm standing, sometimes the only way to deal with a self-appointed queen is to make her clean the moat she built. What would you have done if Beverly had set her sights on your yard? Drop your thoughts below. Who's right? Who's wrong? And where you draw your line.